The Turkish government is red-faced after a leak on YouTube revealed a daring plot to justify invading neighboring Syria. An anonymous source posted audio of a secret meeting between two top Turkish officials discussing a false flag operation that would appear as a Syrian attack.
Prime Minister said that in current conjuncture, this attack must be seen as an opportunity for us.
I'll send 4 men from Syria, if that's what it takes. I'll make up a cause for war by ordering a missile attack on Turkey.
Turkish provocation against Syria could lead to war and the imminent involvement of Ankara's NATO allies. The US-led bloc is sworn to stand up in defense of any alliance member that comes under attack. Some observers say NATO would not think twice before weighing in.
Many of the NATO countries want to have the same goals. Certainly the NATO countries, the United States, England, and the other European nations have the same goals. They've been backing the rebel forces in Syria. They've been trying to use this civil war as an instrument of regime change, which in some ways is unbelievable. Hundreds of thousands of people dead just so they can change the government. And so there's no space between Turkey and the other NATO countries on this. So if in fact there was a faction of forces that were looking for a provocation, it would also line up with forces in the United States and also in Europe who are increasingly warlike and who would like to see more of a Western and NATO intervention inside of Syria. And we know that these warmongering forces have been continually agitating all across the United States and in Europe, and certainly there are forces in Turkey that feel the same way.
It's not the first time Ankara has tried to rally NATO against Syria. RT's Marina Portnaya has a collection of Turkish attempts to spark a full-blown war with its neighbour, this of course with the backing of the NATO alliance.
Turkey, as one of Syria's fiercest critics, has led calls for an international intervention. Not only that, it's persistently providing the reasons for it. Turkey claims Syrian forces fired across the border at refugees and floats the idea of calling on NATO for reinforcement and protection. Turkey admits one of its F-4 military jets was shot down by Damascus after flying over Syria's airspace. Ankara deems it an act of war, reserving the right to respond. And after calling an emergency NATO meeting, Turkey reminds the alliance of its responsibility to protect member states. Turkey cites a growing threat from Syria, requesting that NATO, to safeguard the country, expand its deployment of Patriot missile batteries along the border with Syria, and what could lead to NATO action. Article 5 of the alliance's charter says an attack on any member shall be considered an attack on all.
Well, it's a concerted policy on the part of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, which Turkey is a part of, has been a part of since the early 1950s. It appears that was the strategy, was to provoke an attack from Syrian territory onto Turkey, therefore providing a rationale to draw in the support of the United States and perhaps Israel, as well as Britain and other states that are part of the NATO alliance.
Certainly NATO members share Turkey's sentiments about the Syrian government. Both openly support the rebels in their fight against Damascus. And as for how far Turkey will go, a new leak on YouTube seems to offer some insight on that.
It's a great peek into the way governments operate and how they gin up wars that they would like to have happen and blame them on somebody else. A lot of these insurgents were trained at American military bases and Air Force bases in Turkey, then put into Syria. Syria also has gotten all shipments of weapons. I should say the insurgents have gotten shipments of weapons from Turkey.
So far, NATO has not gotten involved, but with Turkey's grabbing every opportunity to say why it should strike Syria, there's no telling how long that will last. Marina Portnaya, RT.